What's going on, guys? The Google Pixel 3 event is right around the corner. We have an unboxing of the phone that just leaked, which you've probably already seen if you're watching this video. I want to tell you guys why I think it's legit. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So we've got the unboxing, which I'm not going to click on the video. You can look for it here on YouTube if you want to see it. But we do have a bunch of specs that leaked for the phone. So just to cover those really quick, we got the Snapdragon 845, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, humongous 6.7-inch screen, massive $900 price tag, and a battery that's just going to be too damn small. Looking at the phone a little bit closer, the reason I think the screen size is legit, you've got that notch, and that notch is pretty deep. I mean, when you consider other phones that have a notch. What that does is that gives you a bigger screen size that you can put on paper, because remember, it's measured diagonally, so the notch counts in the screen size spec. Bigger screen size on paper, less usable screen size, but 6.7-inch screen, nobody's going to complain about that being too small, right? At least not right now when you got the Note coming in at only 6.4. Now the chin at the bottom here, on Android Authority, they called it comically gigantic. The notch, yeah, comically gigantic. The chin, no. And here's why I like the chin. I've got a Mi Mix 2S right now. That's the phone I use every day. It's running MIUI 9.6, I believe, and they've had gesture-based navigation for quite some time. On that phone, it's bezel-less with no notch, because you can't spell notch without no. With no notch, but it does have a chin. That's the only bezel on the phone. The chin is nice because when you're using the keyboard, which, if we're being honest, is probably what you use on your phone more than anything, the spacebar would be all the way here at the bottom of the screen. If you imagine trying to type on that, it just doesn't work. It's just a pain in the butt. You're going to have a bunch of typos if you don't have that chin at the bottom. So you imagine the spacebar being here in that open space on the screen. I like it. I like that choice. At least they did something with the chin and did some stereo speakers, which, I mean, could be something that Xiaomi could do in the future. I don't know. But I like that. If you look at the iPhone 10, that phone is no bezel all the way to the bottom of the screen. But as soon as you open an app where you need the keyboard, let's imagine the keyboard's this Google bar right here. You've got white space underneath the keyboard to elevate it so that you can hit the space bar. Looks super ugly. I much prefer this implementation. I much prefer to have that little chin with a stereo speaker so they're at least doing something with it. But that's why I think this is legit. If you want to completely go to gesture-based navigation, which is what they're rumored to do, they're rumored to ditch those buttons and go to just gestures, then you can't have a bezel-less design because that spacebar is going to be too low. And I think this is a good way to get around that. Now, jumping back to the screen, 6.7-inch screen with only a 3400 milliamp hour battery, and the screen is supposed to be 1440p. That's a lot of pixels and a very big screen with a small battery. That battery's just not big enough. The battery life on this phone I wouldn't expect to be great unless Android 9 is, phenomenal on battery, which we won't know until the phone actually comes out and people actually get their hands on it to review it. But I think this battery is way too small for a screen that's that big with a pixel, 1440p instead of 1080p. Now, last thing on this phone, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. That's not enough. For $900, it's not enough. For a flagship level phone in 2018, it's laughable. You need to have this number be at least 6, and this at least 128. The reason is Google does not like SD cards. Now, a little bit of, insider information. When I was in computer science, I had a professor who used to work at Google and ultimately went back to Google. This was like Nexus 4 days, so Google had just, declared war on the SD card. They just completely stopped doing them on their phones. And I asked him why, and he said, well, we think it's a bad user experience. We think that having an SD card is a bad user experience because if you're saving something to your phone, you don't know if it's going to the SD card or the internal storage, and that can make people frustrated. My counter argument is, if you're the type of person to buy an SD card, you probably know how to use it. I mean, for at least most people, right? So it is what it is. I don't design the phones, but that's basically saying if you're hoping that 64 gigs of storage with an SD slot, don't. It's not going to happen. 4 gigs of RAM, I don't know why they have any reason to do that either. Just no. $900, that sounds about right. If you guys remember the Pixel 2 XL when it came out, $900 sounds about right, which would make this phone essentially the Note 9 of the Pixel series or Nexus series, whatever you want to call it. Minor upgrade, major price tag jump. So that basically wraps it up. We won't know this phone, what it has officially, until it comes out here in a couple of weeks. Right now it's mid-August. I'd expect it for sure to be announced within a month from now. We'll see. As you see, the date on that phone is August 8th, so it's got to be around the corner if they've got units already packaged and ready to go. But that wraps it up. Just remember, you can't spell notch without no. I hate it. A hidden thing there that you might not think about if you can deal with a notch. Trying to reach the top of your notification bar, you gotta reach all the way up. You can't just go here, you gotta reach all the way up for it. So on my OnePlus 6, that was ultimately one of the deal breakers. Just something to keep in mind if you're excited for this phone and you want it. But anyway, that does it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Thumbs down if you didn't. Comment if you got something to say about it. I do respond to all the comments. And if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one.